some people burst, but I thrive under pressure. I hold them down from distance like I was playing catcher. I pray to God, life is crazy, you know he'll test you. For real. Yeah, you know he'll test you. I'm a living legend in the making, don't care what you think about it. The only time I step inside a bank is for deposit. Failure's always present, but for me it's not an option. Cause I gotta feed my family and I know the critics watch. They don't want to see you win, so they gon' try to stop it. A humble guy until you cross that line, then I'ma pop it. Choking out the competition on my Sergi Baca. Don't associate with lames and haters, they are all imposters. No, see something.
Oh, guys. You know, you take us off today, Kiani, man. I am so freaking pumped.
Wait till we do like the 500 subscriber marathon because we're at 449 right now, so we're creeping.
Ooh, hit that like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, share with everyone.
As my daughter would say, make sure you hit the like button for the notifications.
There you go.
Hey, you know what? When I grow up, I'll be just like Weenie with his 8,200 followers. So I'm just trying to get to where he is.
We're getting there.
Then one day we'll be subbing to him.
It just comes about the process. It's all about the process.
Oh, I love the plug. It's all about the process of making smart trades. There we go, too. Today's show is a pretty cool show because we're on our 16th episode. So what I wanted to do today was I wanted to talk about some of the guests that we've had, and then we'll get into the guests that we're going to have in the future, but celebrating some of the guests that we've had. And so, hey, it's fitting that Weenie popped on here because Weenie has the most. It's almost like when people say, you've been on Letterman more times than Weenie has been on the show 3 times now.
I mean, thank you for having me. You've invited me. How could I turn it down?
He had his episode, 2-part episode because it was so good.
Yeah.
And then he joined us for the crypto episode that we had that week. So,
which was really awesome, man.
Yeah,
that was really good.
Yeah, that was clutch. We learned a lot about Forex and a lot about Donald. That was cool.
Yeah, that was good.
He does anything that isn't fruitful. That's what I've learned about him. If it's something that's fruitful and it's gonna work, then we'll do it. Tell me about this, Weenie, because every guest always asks me, what do I need to do to prepare? And because some of the guests we've had have done interviews on bigger platforms than me, and I always tell them the only thing you need to prepare is just be you. Isn't that what I told you, Weenie? Just be you.
That's what you tell me every time. I'm always like, so what's the topic for today? I want to get a presentation going. I want to get some bullet points. I want to know what I want to talk about. And Keone's always just like, just be you. I'm like, okay, I'll just show up. So here I
think
go.
that's the best way.
Here, no scripts here. You know what I mean?
I feel like it flows better when there are no scripts. And you can just be you. The conversation flows a lot better. You know, people get to see you just being you. So man, the first episode, dude, the first like 2 or 3 episodes, I had questions on questions, man. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I need to prepare an introduction, and I need to do this, and I need to do that. And by the 5th episode, it wasn't me being lazy. It was more I found that like it's a lot more authentic.
Yeah, it's more
over here laughing.
Yeah, man. I was so uptight, man.
No need. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, I need to like come up with an introduction. We got Keone and DeAndre. Like, I need to think of something. So everybody's thinking the same thing. But yeah, just let it flow naturally. I think like the scripted stuff is for like shorter, condensed videos where people are just looking to click on it and then go. But the real OGs that listen to this, they enjoy it start to finish, all natural.
The way it should be.
I didn't want to do the thing like, first of all, I don't make the kind of money to be holding people to like production meetings. What are we going to talk about today? Let's go over. It's like, no, we're doing an interview. We're interviewing a person, getting the real about the person. It's like when we do an athlete. If we, you know, I've got a highlight coming where I interviewed Terry Cummings, you know, played 13 plus years in the NBA. And he liked the interview because I was like, I'm not going to sit here and ask you, well, how was it to play with against Michael Jordan? I'm like, they're tired of those things. They ask,
Yeah.
it's like, let's get the real deal on who you are, what you're about, and how
What's
we.
happening in life now? Like,
Yeah,
What's cooking?
what's
yeah.
cooking? Like
What you're
that's
excited for. Think about what you're excited for. That's what gets you going every day.
Mhm.
yeah. Because like I think for me, I've like yes, I played football and it was fun, but it seemed like it was so many past lives ago.
Yeah.
So
Like
many lives ago.
Well, here's the thing,
how
though.
many years ago was that, would you say?
It was only it was about 7 years ago.
Okay, that's a decent amount of time, but it's not a lifetime ago.
But
No,
a
well,
lot had
it
happened.
isn't football
Yeah.
years. What I
You're
always tell them
a
is,
person.
you still have to know, and this might sound wrong, but you get what I'm saying. You got to know when to use it, though,
Yeah.
to your advantage. And when we say advantage, that doesn't mean trying to get free stuff and stuff like that. You're not, a recognizable name in every home, but use it when you're like doing a promotion. For instance, I've spent 20 years in the Army. We don't talk about it a lot. People who have watched me on enough shows knows it. But hey, when I need to use it to promote an event or things like that, a military veteran, Keanu Stevens and blah blah blah. So like when we did the Stacy thing, we didn't have if we didn't keep rescheduling, we're gonna have a packed house. That's not the problem. It was still a great show, but using you on the flyer, that gets some people who normally wouldn't watch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
You want to mix up the audiences, and I think that gives everybody something to look forward to. And I know what you were talking about, DeAndre. About I was only in college just like 2 or 3 years ago, and it feels like a lifetime ago. Like I feel like I was just like a little kid back in that time period, because I think that just means that we've been growing a lot over the past
Yeah.
year. Because
Dude,
like
I'm
it's
telling
just
you.
it's a whole
But
new.
DeAndre doesn't flaunt it, which is great. He's never flaunted it. He wouldn't even know it if you didn't ask him about it.
It's
He
true.
wouldn't even know it.
I think for me, it's just one of those things that is like I know players and friends who played and they clutch onto it, and
Mhm.
it's like
Identity.
yeah, it's like almost like that is the one and only thing that happened for them. That's the only good thing to talk about. And to me, the way my mindset is, it's like, yes, it happened, but there are so many other things in life that I want to accomplish, that I'm going to accomplish, that I don't want that one thing to be the only thing that I talk about. I mean, you hear people, dude, how many times have you talked to people, Kiani,
Uh-huh.
who are consistently living the
Living in the
glory
past.
days? Yeah,
Well,
of
here's
like,
the thing,
Living in
because
the past. That's the word.
I always have to play devil's advocate when you do that. Like when you talk about the person that's lazy and doesn't want to work out, I see it both ways. I can see it as a sad moment of a person holding on to past glory, but then I also see that other person where, hey, maybe for them, and I'm not going to say it's sad. It could be a good thing. That was their big mountaintop
Mhm.
yeah.
moment. It's something. Well, because you did this. They worked hard in Pee Wee. They worked hard in high school. They went through all the surgeries and injuries in college, written off because they tore an ACL, and now they made it to the NFL. They're in the NFL. They made it to where people know their name. And hey, maybe that is the most proudest moment in the world, because even though football wasn't life for you, I know there's one thing you miss about football, because Army people and Marines and people who are in the service say the same thing. I don't miss the Army. I miss my brothers
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the
The
Army.
people, the
Yeah,
discipline you
that's
get.
what I miss. And sometimes when they're reliving, that's what they're reliving. Because then you go get a regular job and you're like, these morons. You're like, I miss my brothers. Like they don't.
Seriously, that's true. That I will say that is one of the biggest things that I do miss about playing, is coming into the locker room joking with guys.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
after practice, like we would, when I played for Carolina, like we would have like trash basketball games where we rolled up a big behind wad of tape into a ball, and it's like playing one on one. And
Mhm.
it's like I still have videos of stuff like that. And it's like when you look at somebody walk in and be like, what the hell are y'all doing? Like this is
Yeah.
stupid. But first, like everything in the locker room stops and everybody is like tuned into this game.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just stuff like that you miss.
It's the relationships.
Yeah.
Before you go, Weenie, because I want to make this the 5 or 10 minutes, because I know you got to run about you because we're reliving guests. What did you enjoy most about being on the show?
Oh, one of the greatest things about being on the show is you can just tell your story. You can just tell your journey. You can talk about different aspects of the journey. And you guys, coming from it from an outside perspective, can really just ask the guest anything that's on your mind. Because if it's on your mind, it's probably on the viewer's mind as well.
Yeah.
And so it makes it for a great show for everyone. So that's what I really enjoyed. You can just really tell your story, the process. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. In fact, most of the time, success is created from that hard adversity. And yeah, having things like sports to compare it to. I played football, I swam, so that toughness that you build from the physicality of those sports can transfer into many different things, and you can just share how it relates and share the process.
I hate swimmers. They're the only people in the world that can eat 10 boxes of pizza and still have a 6-pack. It's so annoying.
I was logging on some of my calories, 12,000 a day. That Michael Phelps thing is no joke. And it's because your heart rate's going the entire time, but it's also because of the cold pool, the thermogenesis. So if you want to get ripped, just swim a ton.
God,
thank you for telling me that. I'll be looking into that, bud. Thank you.
Swimming's the only thing that works every muscle in the body.
Good on the joints, lifelong sport.
Do you like the chemistry of like DeAndre asking all the hard-hitting questions and then me just being an ass?
Oh, good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
Hey, like we said, let it flow naturally. Don't let the questions come naturally. Let the reactions come naturally. I love it.
I got it. I'm the one that's like, I'm like so intrigued by what I'm asking and who we're talking to that I'm like, oh my gosh. So tell me about this. Tell me about that. And Kiani comes out of nowhere and is like, nah, whatever.
So DeAndre is like, tell me why you wanted to get into thermonuclear genetics in college. And I'm like, no, tell me about that time you pulled that dude's short down in high school. It's on Instagram.
Yeah, give me the juicy details.
Greg, I gotta say, man, I definitely I've loved having you on the shows because each time I've learned something new. Like I've learned something new every single time that you were on the shows that I know I wouldn't have gone myself and been like, man, let me look into trading. I've had, like I told you before, like I've had people that are doing trading, and it was just like that just seems like a lot.
Yeah,
I told
you
that you could learn a lot from a dummy. You didn't believe me,
dude. I'm like, what the?
I mean, I think it's important to just always share your knowledge because that's what makes the human race better. If you're constantly sharing good knowledge, good tips, good info, I think it just makes the human race better versus like just concealing everything or being weird.
Yeah.
I don't know if that really helps. I don't know.
There's a lot of people that have if I share this, that person's going to get ahead of me. If you're already ahead of them, do your job to stay ahead. Like don't worry about what you got to be secure in your position in life, in any relationship, whether it's a relationship, girlfriend, wife, a business relationship, a friendship. You got to be secure in your spot. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, no one can take that from you. No one can take from you what you're willingly or unwillingly knowing that you're giving up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is so true. Danny and I talk about that a lot, especially in our relationship where, to your point, like you got to be secure. I think you got to be secure in yourself, honestly. And understand that, like, to your point, Kiani, if you are doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, right? If, like with Danny, if I am caring for her, I am being attentive emotionally, physically, spiritually, whatever you want to call it. If she were to do something outside of our relationship, it honestly is like that has nothing to do with me. that is something that you gotta look within yourself and um, work on. Especially if I'm doing all the things that you are asking me to do. I'm meeting those needs for you to step out. It's like, dude, that's on you. That has nothing to do with me, and I'm not going to allow that to impact, you know, me, because I mean, we've been in relationships. We've seen people who are in relationships who um, something has happened, a major issue has happened in a relationship, whether it was cheating or whatever, and that has completely altered that person's personality, their mental, and then they start being somebody. They start acting and doing things that are completely different than what they would normally do. They start going against their true intuition, and I think for me, I've gotten to a point where I'm just like, dude, no, like if I'm doing all I'm supposed to do and you do something that has nothing to do with me whatsoever, that's a you thing.
One of the things I loved about you being on the show, Weenie, is we had people who watch this channel that have chimed in to your channel
Yep.
and actually have started to talk about trading. I never thought I'd hear Lisette talk about trading. It was very funny when Mark took. So Weenie does Weenie's weekly market update during as a segment during My Perspective Monday. And before he did his segment, I said, Mark's got a question for you. And Mark goes, Weenie, what the hell's happening to my money?
Yeah, a lot of people are getting destroyed. But real quick, back to what DeAndre was saying. When something big like that happens, your perspective does change on that person, whether it's like something cheating. And I really liked how you said, like, you can't like let other people's actions affect yourself. You can't let other people's actions affect your emotions, as difficult as it may be. And so, and that's why when you're in a relationship, you're kind of like tying a part of yourself to another person. And so you do share those wins and losses, but when you need to, it's good to separate from it. So
now, it's good not to let that person affect you, like you're saying. But one of the things that some people have to do, because normally in a relationship, when it goes bad, it's never just one person's fault. Hey, it can be 90% that person and 10% you, but you still had 10%. You got to figure out what was that 10%. I think enough people don't do that, and that's why the same mistakes or things happen in the next relationship. If you're always ignoring your girlfriend or your girlfriend's needs, or your boyfriend's always telling you a dream he has and you kind of just cast it off, and then that creates a separation, and now this girl is talking in his ear and he's liking what she's saying and he cheats. I'm not approving that. And then he goes off to that, and then you get another boyfriend and you do the same exact thing, even though they're the ones committing the infidelity. What are you contributing to that? And I think some people don't do that part of that. What was I know what they did wrong, but sit down and really think, do I have any culpability in what just happened? Yeah, I'm not going to blame myself for their actions, but that doesn't always just happen. Something leads up to that happening. So I sit back and I think of, let me follow the breadcrumbs and find out where I might have started this path of division. And I don't think people like to do that. It's easier to say, oh, that person cheated and it's their fault and they ruined it and that's it.
You know? Yeah, 100%. 100%. I don't think people, I think honestly it takes I don't want to say a special person, but I'm going to use the words. I think it takes a special person to be able to look in the mirror and say, I fucked that up. I did that. It takes a special person to do that, to own their stuff and to say, to take responsibility.
You know where a place where you can learn that from? And I don't want to get on, Weenie, you tell me if you agree or not. That's one of the things that I learned from my grandfather. So having either your parents or a grandparent or whatever, my grandfather was big on self-accountability, responsibility. And that's why sports are so popular. That's why a lot of people put their people in sports. You know, when I joined the wrestling team, the coach was like, you take accountability. You're one person I'd tell that. I said, well, my grandfather taught me that already. But there was a lot of guys on the team that had to learn that accountability. Now, that's an individual sport, so sometimes they don't get it. But you both, like Greg, you did swimming. So if you did a competition that only involved you, but when you had to do a team relay or something, that accountability factor comes in because there's other people involved. You with football, one person doesn't do their job, you break up the play where there's other 10 people that are involved.
Very well said. And I'll say this: you will develop the self accountability trait in trading very quickly. You need to have that for trading. You need to be able to go into the mirror if you had a day where you lost money and say, it was my fault I lost this amount of money. You know, I put this much size into it. I accepted that amount of risk. You got to go into the mirror each and every day. Every day you have a red day, and you'll get really good at your self accountability because it's all you can really have. The market's going to do whatever the market does, but you just position yourself within that. And yeah, it comes down to relays. You know, if I did a late start and disqualified the relay, boom, that's on me. I'll say it's on me. I've never let that happen. I'd rather be a little bit slow and just make up for it in the pool, but instead of trying to jump the gun. In football, if you don't do your job, the whole play gets ruined. Like if you don't block somebody that needed to be blocked, that whole play is done. Your dude gets tackled. If you're supposed to, you know, hold the line on the defensive end and you don't hold the line, running back breaks out. Boom, touchdown. You got to hold accountability in all your team sports.
Yo, Greg, I don't think I've ever asked this question. What is the biggest lesson that you've learned trading?
I would say, and this is still a battle, is controlling your emotions. You need to like be a master of your emotions. As in like you need to like you can't feel euphoric when trading, and you can't be too depressed. Like you need to just be level-headed because we're dealing with money here, and at every point in the trade, you're either potentially going to make more money or lose the money, or you're always either making money or losing money in every trade. So keeping a level head, just developing your emotions. That's one of the biggest things that you're going to learn. And I'll learn this in real life. Like everything else is pretty easy to control my emotions in, because trading is one of the hardest things to control your emotions in. So for example, if like somebody cuts you off in traffic, I don't get mad. Like I'm not like, oh, or anything like that. Just like, oh, interesting. That's a dangerous driver. I'm going to avoid him. Like versus like, I feel like before trading, I would have been a little bit ticked, even just a little bit. And so you really just need to control yourself when trading. The emotions get into it because money is involved. And so the more money that you have, the more I found that people can control those emotions. Some people are better at it. Some people are worse at it. But I do notice that the less money that you have and you try to trade, you're going to be more emotional because it means more to you. So you're going to make decisions out of whack. So yeah, emotions.
I like it. I like it, man. I like it. Yeah, I will say that to your traffic example, I am. Oh boy, I get pissed. I'm not gonna even lie. I go from 0 to 100 real quick, dude. Like when I run in traffic.
I don't anymore because I'm like, especially when somebody zips and speeds. First of all, I get mad because I'm like, where's a cop when that happens? Because if I go 5 miles over the feet, when they're zipping and out, I say two things. One, I go, I hope there's not an emergency that person's trying to get to, because I don't know if that person just got the call that their mom's doesn't have soon get to the hospital.
Yeah.
I'm not saying people go speed 30 miles, but I get it. The secondly, I go, if this person is just being a jerk, I hope it was worth it. What's going to happen in the end. But Weenie, I know you got to run. Thank you for popping in.
Appreciate you,
Thank you
dog.
guys for having me. Always a blast.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, thank you for coming in. And we're going to have you on in the future, because I'm sure anytime we talk to anybody that's doing any type of trading, I'm going to make sure to invite you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please do.
Absolutely.
All right, you guys.
Appreciate
Thank you
you,
so much
dog.
for having me.
All right.
Hit the like, subscribe, share.
Oh,
I'll see you guys next time on The Process, or for Weenie's weekly market update.
that's right. Or for lunchtime with Keone on Weenie Trades Mondays.
Yeah, lunchtime with Keone on Weenie Trades Live. I got to head out. I'm going to be getting some stuff for my dad's birthday tomorrow, so that should be exciting.
All right. Happy
Birthday,
birthday
Pops.
to the creator of the Weenie.
Yeah.
Papa Weenie.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you, bro.
All
Dude,
right.
I
Now we
love
got our
burgers,
new
man.
screen up that's littered with all of our guests. So let's talk about these guests. So our first guest we had we had the vegan master. We had that episode where she was in bad weather and the connection kept
Oh,
coming out, but we got her back on a couple of episodes later. Tell me how much did you enjoy that episode?
dude, I love that episode. I just love DeAndre, man. She is so enthusiastic about
Uh-huh.
life, and she's so enthusiastic about um, health and fitness.
Hmm.
And she's just super duper funny. Like
Yeah.
when you get to know her, dude, she is freaking hilarious, man. So like that episode was really cool because like I just love messing with her. I love messing
Yeah.
with her.
Then
Like
look, and you know me, I'll mess with somebody like we've been best friends for 20 years and I just met him.
yeah, dude. Like I really love messing with her because like I'll start talking about something when it comes to food and meat. And she'll be, you could just see her chomping at the bit, like, oh, like she wants to say something. And so I just love messing with her, man. I thought that was, that was a really good episode. Very informative. I know we
Well,
messed with
I
her a lot,
love
but it
that
was very
she wasn't,
informative.
and I said this to her. I love that she's not a condescending vegan person.
Yeah.
Like, don't get mad at me because I like chicken. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings, but and we also discovered there's a lot of vegan dishes that I like. It doesn't mean I don't like vegan dishes, but I don't pick at anybody for being vegan. Don't pick at me
Yeah.
for eating chicken.
Yeah, no, no, seriously, nah. And I do like that she's not like that because I too have had people that like I'll be eating something or they're newly into this whole vegan thing, and
Mhm.
then they look down on you because you eat a burger,
Yeah, I'm
and
like,
they're
you just
like, "Oh,
became a vegan 2 weeks ago. Settle
yeah,"
down.
it's like, pump your brakes,
Yeah.
okay? Pump your brakes, okay?
Well, here, this is not to put a pat on your back, but when I was personal training, I was a lot buffer. And I always used to laugh when like a vegan person or a vegetarian would be yelling at me about what I'm eating, and I'm looking at them. And I'm like, really? I, I,
You,
I don't think you should be the spokesperson for
yeah,
vegan or vegetarian. I don't think they want you as the
yeah,
spokesperson because you're over
no.
here struggling with these 25-pound dumbbells and you're only on the fourth rep. Like calm down a bit.
Like, yeah, seriously, relax, man. Relax. Just get back to your
Oh
sets.
man.
I'll come over and I'll help you with these 6 pull-ups. All right. Just relax. Not to knock anybody, but just relax, man. But
Yeah.
what did you think about it?
Well,
The
I
whole
thought it
episode.
was great. Like I said, I loved her because she's sensible. You can talk to her. It was fun. She let us and the willingness to let us be silly with our meat stuff and all of that. That was really cool. And she got to talk about it because here's the thing. She wasn't born a vegan, so she understood.
Yeah.
She wasn't here to tell us. I could see that she wanted, like when we said certain food, she wanted to go, that's disgusting. But you could see her holding it back, like, no, I used to be there. I know why they like bacon. I
Yeah.
know why. Um, and then
Yeah.
go on from there. So that was pretty cool too, that she could
I
contain herself.
yeah, I think the interesting thing about her story that
Mhm,
I truly find fascinating is the fact that she quit cold turkey.
mhm.
Like it wasn't like a ramp up process. It wasn't a like, oh, I'm gonna just start with breakfast and then I'm gonna work my way into it. Was just a like I watched this show on Netflix and that same night I threw away everything in my refrigerator that was meat. Like, I'm gonna just tell you this right now. If Danny walked into the kitchen and was just like, all of this, your chicken breast gone, your hamburger meat gone, your bacon's gone. I'm throwing all of this stuff out. Dude, I I think that'd be the end of it, if I'm being honest. I think I think that'd be the end
Hey,
because it's
look,
like,
I listen. I totally understand you. Like, you didn't even give me a build up. By the way, chicken breasts, I used to eat a lot more when I worked out, but I'm such a dark meat chicken person. But um, but I get it. I understand what you mean. Some people can do that. The thing about it too is the Netflix special. I've watched like Super Size Me. I've watched a lot of things on how sausage made and all that. That stuff doesn't deter me from eating the things that
no.
I enjoy eating. It's like I get it. Because you know what? When I go to that vegan restaurant, I don't know that the person behind the counter is clean. I don't know if my waiter or whoever's put my salad together didn't pick their nose or wipe their hand. Like it's just like you get what you get. Okay,
Yeah.
you get what you get. So there's a lot of compromising um, in life. There are things though that I've stopped eating a lot of. For instance, I don't eat fast food as much as I used
Hmm.
to, nowhere near as much. Like, plus McDonald's has gotten worse, but I used to eat
True.
that religiously. Um, Most of the time I get fast food, it's like for breakfast, it's like a breakfast sandwich. And I don't eat large quantities of red meat so much throughout the week. Like every now and then I'll have a steak, every now and then I'll have a hamburger, but I used to eat red meat a lot. And you can
Hmm.
notice the difference. So it's like I get it. Let's
Mm.
talk about then we had Weenie on, so we just talked about him. We had singer-songwriter Jacinia Mills on.
Dude, your thing
Um
is so
that
cool.
that was cool. What was the coolest thing for you about talking to Jacinia?
Man, just one, how knowledgeable she is in the whole like world of music. And
Mhm.
and to be young and to know as much as she knows. I mean, I know she comes from a musical background with her family. But one, how knowledgeable she is and how talented she is, that I follow her on Instagram, and she's like directing and shooting her own videos.
Mhm.
Like, I think that was so freaking dope, man. She's a phenomenal songwriter. Um, and she's funny as heck too.
Shy.
I didn't realize shy.
Nah, it's good.
I
She's funny.
didn't, I
That's
didn't
my
realize
girl.
that she was that funny, man. But like, man, she's just so knowledgeable, man, and willing to share information. That's the
Mhm.
thing. You get people who are pursuing a career of some sort, and the
Mhm.
world we live in, it's this world of like, nah, I'm not gonna expose what I'm doing because you mentioned it earlier. You might get ahead of me, and it's like, bro, like we might be pursuing two different genres of music, my guy. Like, if you got some knowledge, like just share that knowledge. And I love that she was so willing to share her knowledge, and it helped me a lot. Definitely helped me a lot.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, and I know so much about Jacinia because I coached her when she was even younger as an actress. So
Hmm.
that was a really I've seen her grow and blossom, and I love how that country accent can come and go at will. It's the funniest thing ever. Then we had an episode. We had so much trouble with it technically, not because of the guests. It was one of those things where the software wasn't working,
Hmm.
nothing was working right. So we tried to do a pre-record. We pre-recorded it. The pre-record got corrupted, but we had Hollywood James Henderson on. And for those of you who did not get to see Hollywood James Henderson on, you can go to the On the Count show on Keone Productions. We do those every other Wednesday. But if you go to the On the Count playlist, there's an interview with Hollywood James Henderson on that show. He was convicted and sent to jail for 50 years. He only served 18 months. So that whole story on there is why he only served 18 months is on there. Then he became the first person to lift 700 pounds. I can't remember if it was squat or press or whatever it
Bench
was.
press, bench
Bench
press,
press
man.
700 pounds clean. And what that means is doing it without anything.
No performance
No
enhancements, no
performance
steroids,
enhancing
no
drugs,
nothing.
no steroids, no HGH, no hormone enhancements,
Yeah.
no nothing. Just all man. Rawr.
I think he called himself the modern day Samson.
He ain't got no
Didn't he?
hair.
Didn't he? But I know he just talked about him being like, because Samson in the Bible was like just naturally,
Mhm,
well, it was God gifted, but he was just strong, man.
mhm,
Um, that episode really, really touched me. Um, and I truly hate that we were having um the technical errors and difficulties that we were having, because it was one of those things that, like, I think a lot of people would have benefited from hearing his story.
mhm.
But the biggest thing that
The
blew
good
me
thing is
away,
the story is still there for
yeah,
everybody. Yeah,
yeah,
but that was a
um,
good different version we were going with. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, gosh, Lee, man, you can dissect that particular episode, and there's so many different things to talk about, like the system. Like you can
Mhm,
talk about that. The spiritual aspect, you can talk
mhm,
about that. Just, I mean, his athletic career. Like there's so many different things that you can dissect in that episode. But I went back and afterwards I felt like, man, I needed to hear that. I think that was a
mm,
message that I needed to hear. And so it was incredible. It was an incredible episode. And I'm
yeah.
sorry you guys didn't get a chance to hear it. But yeah, that was
Hey,
I
but
think
it was a really really good one. But hey, we'll have him back on here sometimes. I think we had Weenie back. I
yeah,
can't remember. No, we didn't. We did Weenie back to back weeks, and then after Hollywood, we had the Real Reason on. Professional wrestlers, the Real Reason on. Real Reason. I don't want to get into specific. Real Reason's having a tough time right now, so prayers go out there for Real Reason. Hope
yeah,
he gets through whatever he's going through right now. But he was on here and he was a delight to talk to get some background on how he
yeah,
got into professional wrestling. Just and I know you knew the household names, but to
yeah.
hear me and him talk about wrestlers that you've never heard of,
Long,
um,
be honest with
kind of awesome. So I'll let you just like I was taken aback when you had DeAndre on there and is kind of spectating, you became kind of co-host that day
you.
and just let us run with it. And that's gonna happen sometimes. Sometimes we'll have a person on. It's not that we're neither of us interested. It's just one of us has a bigger pool or interest in the
Yeah.
topic that that person's talking about. So how did you enjoy that episode?
It was really cool. I'll be honest, when y'all started throwing out all these different names, dude, I'm gonna be honest, I was quiet because I was like, what the hell
Where the
and
hell
who
are
the
they
hell are
talking?
they talking about?
Don't
Like
know that. Don't.
it was cool, you know, but I think the thing that I was most fascinated about was I hearing his stories and hear him talk, I felt like I was getting a behind the scenes um
Mhm,
view into the world of wrestling
mhm,
and just how difficult it is to make it. Like
mhm,
I know the world of football and it's difficult to make it in that. Um but hearing like how like if you're not a household name, like dude, it really it's a grind. Like it is a physical, mental, emotional, financial grind that you're packing your car and you're driving to the next
mhm.
venue, the next place. Um
You might do 8 cities in 10 days.
and you were driving to every single one of those and I'm like, Holy crap, I didn't know that." Just to know the difference, independent wrestlers. And then I always knew the World Wrestling Federation. I thought that's all it was, to be honest with you.
World Wrestling Entertainment.
World Wrestling Entertainment, I'm sorry. I always thought that's what it was, but then it's like so many sub levels underneath that.
Oh,
And
there's
then,
levels. Yeah, the
yeah.
independent circuit. There's people wrestling in a. There's someone wrestling in a Hooters restaurant right now.
And it's just like, holy crap, I didn't know that. And then just as how he was talking about how, I forget what he called it. I'm just gonna say a supporter, a supporting wrestler, if you will. You know the correct term, where you're working with this particular wrestler to make him look good.
Mhm.
Um, I had no idea, man. I had
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Sometimes your job is making other people look good and help push them. It's called giving them a push. Like if you're a professional wrestler and I was there and I've been there for 10 years, I'm a mid carder, middle of the road. Here comes DeAndre, and they want to give you a big push. You're one of the people they want to put on that top level. You'll get a feud with me. I might win a match or two, but we might do a 15 match series and I only win two of them.
Yeah,
And out of that 15 match series, seven of them might be televised, and I may win one just to make it interesting, or even two. But you're gonna get the big push out of that, and I'm gonna come out as the loser on the end, and so that happens a lot too. So then
yeah,
we had uh, at the Real Reason, I think we had the Vegan Master back on, but then we had Camille.
Oh man.
And she was a unicorn. You know, she's that person that's trying to do everything in the world at one time. So she was amazing. She always has a plate full. Every time I call her, she's driving somewhere, she's in a meeting, she's doing something, she's teaching something, she's in a class. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. Man, she was I'm just gonna say this, man. It's my show. Our show, we say what we want. Beautiful black queen, man.
Hmm.
That's really doing something incredible.
Hmm.
And it was to the hurdles, different obstacles that she had to overcome to get to where she is. I thought that was really really cool. Her message, it hit me because as we were talking, we started talking. She introduced me to the whole star seed thing and your soul's soul contract, which were like things that I was thinking about, but I didn't know what the correct term for it was
Hmm.
or is. But it was really cool to, to talk with her, and to hear all the different things that she's doing. And she's somebody that I want to get back on because we didn't really dive into the actual work that she's doing, and the way she's making a difference. So,
Yeah, sometimes I have a hard time. I got to rein you back in.
man, I'm
I
telling you,
gotta
yeah.
reel you back in. Like, hey.
I know, man. I know, cause I get so engulfed in what we're talking
Mhm.
about, man. And it's like, tell me more. Tell me
Yeah, it's
more.
part of the like. It's part of the like. That's I gotta start doing two parters with people. Hey, sometimes the hour goes by fast. I mean, look at it now. We're at 41 minutes.
Yeah,
The hour goes by fast, especially if you're enjoying it and having fun. If you're not, the hour seems to take forever and it's agonizing.
it is. Yeah,
After her, we had Cello.
man.
Right?
Cello's awesome. Cello and I, we communicate via Instagram, man.
Mhm.
Here's the awesome thing about this show, and I tell people this, um, is that I get to talk like I'm living my dream. like I'm really living my dream where I get to have curious conversations.
Mhm.
Um, Shout out to Brian Grazer. I get to, have curious conversations with people all over the country. And I get to hear their stories, and I think it's really, really, really cool. And someone like Cello, man, who's a doctor, who's a good looking
Yeah,
doctor.
he was a surgeon. Yeah.
He's like a yeah, and just freaking cool, man. So positive. Um, what I thought was really interesting is Cello's a surgeon or in the medical field, and one of the questions that I asked him was like, when you are being a doctor, knowing or in the medical field, knowing how the body works, is it difficult for him to be personally trained by someone and they're trying to tell him how the body works? I thought that was, something really, really cool, to hear him say, um, yes and no, in a way, that when he's working with a personal trainer who's trying to tell him about the body, it all just comes back to, what is the goal and what is it he's trying to accomplish. So Cello is really cool, man. I got to get on his show. I got to
Mm.
get on his show.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, what you mean? You got the contacts.
I know.
You got the contacts. I got to get some of your contacts on this show. I'm gonna run out of people I know.
Oh man, dude,
uh,
I'm
then we had who was after Cello? I'm trying to remember.
it
After,
wasn't
oh
just
no, we had Stacy after Cello. Okay, we had
oh
Stacy, the Black Feather Intuitive. She's down there at the bottom. I don't know if you can see what I did with the screen with all the people littered around us, but
yeah.
we had her, Demystify the Divine, the Black Feather Intuitive, Stacy Brown. We had a live with her at Georgina's restaurant in Morrisville, North Carolina. Um, and I know you enjoyed that one because I wasn't on it.
You were still there, man. Man,
Uh,
Stacey, that her episode, which um it's funny because we talked to Camille, and then
mhm.
it seemed like a week later I talked to Stacy, which the conversation with Camille and Stacy it was confirmation and continuation of what I had been feeling, and Stacy was able to elaborate a lot more on star seeds and soul contracts, and um we even did a reading, and I will be honest and say, man, that like ever since that reading, it's one of those things that my mind has definitely been open to where life is leading, but not I haven't been so eager to about what talk about the things that I'm doing, because that was one of the things that she mentioned to me was like, there are opportunities that are going to be coming, and the biggest thing is you need to be very careful on who you're talking to.
Yeah, because you can't talk to everybody. You tell
Yeah,
somebody an idea, and next thing you know, you see that pop up somewhere. Also, a lot of times, this is what happens. Sometimes our ideas, most of the time, it's not an original thought. Someone else has had that thought. I learned this from somebody a long time ago. Jim Gans, he said there's two types of people in life: those who have ideas and those who implement their ideas. So
mm,
sometimes I come up with an idea, someone else has already had it, they just didn't utilize it.
yep,
They just didn't do it, and then when they see it blow up, they're like, "Ah, why wasn't that me?"
yeah,
So it happens a lot, and that's why when you get your idea, you find a way to make it come to fruition. But you got to hold it close to the vest, the people that you let in on those ideas, especially sometimes. And you got to know your friends and associates. Sometimes you're telling your ideas not to hear the negativity or criticism. You're just sharing your idea. It's like, I didn't ask you for input. I'm just sharing my
yeah.
idea with you. So, and sometimes some people don't implement their idea because they tell it to the wrong people and they get a negative response, and it takes
Kills
them
the
away. Yeah, it kills the momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I know you talk to like a lot of these people a lot. Do you have a particular do you have a favorite episode so far? One that sticks out to you the most?
Hmm. If I had to, well, see, this was gonna be it's gonna be a biased one and a hard one, so I'm gonna pick two. Of course, my favorite episode is gonna be the one with the real reason because I used to love wrestling growing up. That's an easy one, and then throwing Weenie in there. That's because me and Weenie are really good, really cool.
Yeah.
So throwing those in there, I can honestly say, and then I work with Stacy, so I can honestly say, taking out like the bias of me wanting to do that wrestling one so bad, and always working with Stacy and Weenie, I know Jacinia. I would say DeAndre, Vegan Master,
Yeah.
was my favorite one because I got to poke the bear, and I got to get poked, and everyone listening that doesn't see the video, that's not what I meant. Um, but there was no leather people wearing leather here. Um, so I got to talk about that, talk about food, and the reason why I like that episode, because even though the episode was about all things vegan, we still got to talk about other foods.
Yeah.
We got to have a. It wasn't such an interview of like, hey, let's listen to everything this vegan person has to say and go with it. We got to have a conversation about the differences in our food and poke
Yep.
fun at each other and point out some good things, because everything that's non-vegan ain't bad. Like, we're gonna act like, those, you get those, like we were talking about earlier, you get those people that are vegan and like everything that's non-vegan is just terrible for you. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
all right, calm
Well,
down.
when we had Stacy on, was there anything that she said that you was like, "Oh man, I never thought about that," or "I didn't know that"?
What's that? What's that?
Was there when we had Stacy on,
Hmm.
um, I know you guys talk a lot and
Hmm.
you work closely or you work together. On that episode that she was on, was there anything that she said that you were like, "Oh man, I never thought about that," or that
No,
was
because when she got into the spiritual stuff, it's the same line of thinking for me.
hmm
Everything that's not labeled Christian isn't the devil.
yeah,
Okay. And it's like there are other things in this universe that we can't explain. That, like the story about the text. I'm giving you the end of the story instead of telling you the story. I woke up one day and I'm trying to find this text to her because there's about three different projects she wants me to do. And I just saw her text me, hey, for blank blank Monday, we need to do this. For Demystify Wednesday, we need to do this. For Archangel and Unite Your Wings, we need to do this, and this. It was a very thorough text, and I could not find it in a group text. I could not find it in an email. I could not find it from her phone. And so I called her. I said, Stacy, we're on video. I said, Stacy, I cannot find the text you sent me about. She's like, the text about uh, Moon Mondays and Demystify Wednesdays and Archangel Unite Your Wings. I said, yeah, all that information. Can you retext it to me? She said, John, I never sent the text. I said, what do you mean you never sent the text? She said, I texted in my phone, but I never sent it to you. I said, I'll just talk to him when I see it, when I see him. Look, Stacey, I just had a dream because I figured out it was a dream. I dreamed that she texted me and I read all the stuff verbatim because she showed me that she was going to text me. She never hit the send button. And oh my God. I said, see, now we're getting a psychic link. There's just so many things in the universe that aren't explained, can't be explained, and we can't just the human condition of I've got the answers. Here's the one answer that has to be true. And then when we still don't have the answer from that one answer true, he works in mysterious ways. Like you can't have it both ways.
Yeah. No, I think that was one of the things with her episode that I guess I left from it a lot more open-minded with the readings and the being the healer and the oracle, all these different things. Because we've talked about it, and the Christian world is like, oh, that is wrong, that's bad, you can't do that, you shouldn't, and it's a lot of what you can't do. And I guess I left from that with a much open mind to just being more, I guess, more accepting. And like they saying yoga, take what you need and leave what you want, leave what you don't want.
I mean, who needs all that positive energy and positivity and influence? I think, and then me and Stacy talk about this. I think when people think of tarot and psychics like her, they think of the movies with the lady and the little weird, dark store, and you come in there and she flips the card and it's a devil card and she goes, oh, and it gets all spooky, and it's like, and everybody who even knows about tarot knows that's not what that card means. When they see the death card, they think, oh my, and in the movie they make it like you're gonna die or someone and the death card a lot of times simply means it's the ending of something. Like for instance, when DeAndre was made the decision to become a vegan, if she would have went to a psychic that day, they might have pulled the death card, and then that would have been signified that that's what just died. Her decision to eat the way she was eating is dead, and now it's been rebirthed into. So it's like so much, but that's the whole thing about every guest we've had, about every topic we've talked about. It's about doing your own research and having an open mind. You don't have to agree with someone being a vegan. You don't have to agree with things pro wrestlers said. You don't have to agree with what the ex-surgeon was saying. You don't have to agree with Hollywood James Henderson. You don't have to agree with Weenie. You don't have to agree with these people, but it's an education on knowing how they got where they got. Successful people are in all walks of life, whether you're Christian, Jewish, atheist, or whatever. How did they get successful? What are the things that they did to get them through the process? And that's the stuff we want to bring to people. And then our last guest last week we had was Donnell, Forex trader. So we got to learn, we've gotten all the day trading from Weenie, and then we got to get the crypto and currency trading from Donnell. And you sopped that up with a biscuit. I saw.
Dude, it was so cool, man. One, because him being so young and so knowledgeable about money. Like, and for him it wasn't, oh, I want to do this because I want to get rich. It was, I do this because I get to have my time. I get to, on a whim, if I want to go to freaking Cancun, I can go to Cancun and not have to worry about anything, not have to put in a notice, not have to ask somebody, oh, can I? No, it's like I can go do whatever I want. So I thought that was cool, but it was also good to see the currency trading of, you know, the dollar to this. It was just really cool, man. And then to have Greg back on, and I really loved the flow between um, Donnell and Weenie, and how they interacted, and how, you know, when Donnell said something, it sparked something with Greg, and
And
vice
vice
versa.
versa. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really really cool,
Here's a
man.
stat you didn't know. We've had 10 guests. 5 of them are under the age of 30, and they're
Freaking love
successful.
it.
And
Freaking love
so,
it.
huh?
I freaking love it, man.
Well, you better make me
I
do this
think
every week.
no, I say that because it's you know, to me it's success doesn't have an age.
No,
It doesn't have an age,
doesn't
man.
have an age, doesn't have a race, doesn't have a gender. Um, you know,
And so it's awesome, man. It is really really awesome. I have been tremendously blessed to for us to have this show, to meet and talk to the people that we've talked to, and for me, I'm always going to be super duper grateful for you for creating the platform. And so this whole thing is just, it's just awesome, man. I said it earlier, I'm living my dream, and the goal is to one day have um, this show be millions of people watching it and tuning in, and that would be really really cool.
hey, it'll happen because you didn't say one thing. You didn't say if. You
Yeah,
know, we don't do ifs and wishes, right? Make it
yeah,
happen. So lovely, lovely, lovely. DeAndre usually takes y'all out. Well, I'm gonna let him take you out. I'm gonna let him take you out today. We want to talk about our guests. We've got some great guests coming up. We got
yeah,
comedian Jared Guillory coming up. We've got comedian and aspiring astrology wizard Dwayne Dunleavy. You can see him on In the Stars with Dwayne on Keanu Productions. We've got singer songwriter Autumn Nichols coming up. We got some Project Runway, Paula Popkov coming up. We've got so many people coming up. You know,
yeah.
it's gonna be outrageous.
And if you, I want to say this: if you're somebody that you're like, oh man, I have a cool story, or you know someone that got a cool story, man, hit me up on Instagram at DeAndre Presley Music, and we can talk about it. You
Yep.
know, we can
And
talk
you can
about it.
email keanuproductions@gmail.com.
Yeah. Well, we've reached that point where we talk about our weekly wins, and so I'm gonna jump right into it. My weekly win, man, is today. My lovely girlfriend bought a car after about a month or 2 months of us searching for a car. We have finally secured her a car, and she got the car she wanted. And so that is the weekly win. So yeah, what's yours, Kiani?
DeAndre drives a Prius. So my weekly win is that I have convinced you to be on our sports show.
Oh, I'm ready for this too.
It's my weekend. Monday. Don't come there ill prepared. Okay.
I'm really looking forward to this. So now it's like I used to watch sports and football and stuff after I
Mhm.
started playing. I really didn't watch it, but now I'm like, damn it, I gotta like get back into it and like pay attention. It's gonna turn me into like a sports. It'd be great to be a sports anchor one day. You know,
Yeah.
that'd be great. That'd be great. But guys, man, we appreciate y'all so much for tuning in. We reached that point where we have to say goodbye. But I want to say bye. Until next time, man, we appreciate y'all. Like, subscribe, do all the things that you
Wait,
need.
hold on. Don't oh wait, go ahead. Go ahead. Say your piece. My bad. I was filibustering because there was something wrong I almost just deleted the thing. There's something wrong with the outro. But go ahead.
Well, guys, take 2.
Yeah. No, don't do that. Take
No, but seriously, we really do appreciate you guys for tuning in. Man, please continue to like, please continue to share, please continue to support this show, man. We really appreciate it. We don't take it for granted, and we'll see you guys this same time next week. Be easy.
Be easy. DeAndre Presley is probably the worst guest I've had on this show.